y'all. Boy, hit that bump. 1449 ENT, bitch. I told you one time. Affiliated. Let y'all boy hit that little pound. Put a little something in there. A little 210. You might hit. Turn on, y'all. She's scared. 1449. I got to put the charger on here. The 745, the Pontiac, good. Yeah. Look at that shit, y'all.